But getting back to Sony. Yeah, well, they showed off more Move stuff. Still very underwhelming. No, yeah, I don't know how much longer they're going to push with this whole Move thing. So, then later on they showed off BioShock Infinite, which I thought was interesting, because it was interesting because, not because the setting of where this game is going, they went from like underwater New Year's Eve 1950 to having it up in the sky, which I don't know why it kind of looks a little steampunkish. Maybe because of the blimps, I don't know. But it's basically it's like Independence Day 1910. I think that's what the setting is. But like it looks pretty interesting. They're gonna have that not only released on the PS3 but on the NGP, which I will get into very shortly. And also with BioShock Infinite, with the release of BioShock Infinite, what they're going to include on the same disc is a copy of the first BioShock. It's funny because you have BioShock Infinite and BioShock on the same disc, but no BioShock 2. It's like BioShock 2 never happened. Makes you say something about that game. There was a bunch of other stuff they mentioned. Another SSX game. I have a copy of SSX Tricky, the second one, and I don't know. Maybe I might get it. I don't know. They mentioned a bunch of. They mentioned Need for Speed: The Run, which I can go on a whole separate vlog about that. Basically, let's put it this way: racing game with running sequences. You do the math. They mentioned Battlefield 3, which they're going to include a copy of Battlefield 1943 with, which is also pretty cool. I always like that. So they finally revealed their NGP, which is now called the Vita. They're calling it the PlayStation Vita, and it basically looks like a regular PSP, except that it has like the touch sensors on the back, and they also have like cameras. They're trying to maybe borrow a little bit from Nintendo's playbook with the 3DS with the cameras, but they showed off some stuff. It looks like graphics-wise, it looks like an upgraded PSP, pretty much. But it's an emphasis on gameplay because the screen is a touch screen, and you can use not only the buttons, but the touch screen at the same time. You know. Either or while playing, which I thought was pretty cool. They showed off an Uncharted game. They showed off Uncharted Golden Abyss. They showed off a bunch of other titles, and it was pretty cool. And then they get into Street Fighter X Tekken, or Street Fighter Cross Tekken, whatever they call it. And I'm still calling it X Tekken. But they're working on it. It looks pretty cool. They said that for a PS3 exclusive, that Cole from Infamous 2 is going to be there. It's going to be in the game as a playable character. And I love the audience reaction. They were like, what? They didn't know how to react. It's like, it was totally unexpected. And it was unexpected with me. It's like, wait, Cole from Infamous 2? I mean, it was like, not everybody's first pick, but it works, I guess. So they showed off that, and there was a lot more to be said, a lot more in Sony. They talked a little bit more about some of the other games. Some of the games, they mentioned Infamous 2, they mentioned Resistance 3, and a bunch of others. But it was just a lot to take in. Then we get to Nintendo. And Nintendo was pretty interesting because for Nintendo you have, it's all about the next gen console that they're talking about. It's not. I wouldn't really call it a next gen console. basically they're calling it the Wii U. That's the name of their new console, the Wii U, which sounds more like an upgraded version of the Wii or University. I can't tell, but and they're big, and they really showed off the controller. Then again, they kind of did this with the Wii. With the Wii, they showed off the controller quite a bit, but this one they really showed off a lot of, because the controller, it's like a touchscreen, like they said, and the key aspect is that you can now take the game. You could be playing it on the TV, and you can still be playing. And then if somebody wants to use the TV, you can still play it on the controller. So it's like you can play it on your TV, and you can play it on the controller itself, which sounds pretty cool. And it's in HD, which was promised. And the one thing that struck me was a lot of the third-party developers were getting into this. Like, there was like a whole list of games. There was like, let's see, yeah, Darksiders 2, which I can't believe they're making a sequel of. Tekken, Dirt. They're doing the Aliens Colonial Marines, which they're still doing. Ghost Recon. I heard they're doing an Arkham City for Wii U, which would be interesting, and that probably won't be out till later because Arkham City comes out in October. But that'll be something interesting to see what kind of gameplay they can come up with. But yeah, I really wouldn't consider it next gen. More like an upgrade. And I noticed a lot of people after the conference, they were talking about saying, like, where's the actual system itself? In fact, actually one website did show a picture of it. Kind of looks like a Wii still a little bit, but there's like slight differences. Like I mean, apart from it being on its side, but like the power button and whatnot. But that wasn't just about the Wii U. The conference was also about Legend of Zelda, and this is the 25th anniversary of Legend of Zelda, and they're doing a big thing with it. Like, they're re-releasing some games for like Virtual Console. They're doing a concert series, which I thought was interesting. They're doing a concert tour, like around the world, and they're also doing a CD with that concert, and they're also doing another CD featuring the soundtrack to Ocarina of Time 3DS, which I thought is also pretty interesting. So yeah, I mean, because they want to emphasize the music, they really want to promote it, and I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, I would like to go see a concert. They're doing it in New York City. A lot of 3DS stuff. A lot of emphasis on 3DS. A lot of the titles. Much of it is just titles from like N64 titles, like Star Fox 64, 3DS, Ocarina of Time 3DS, which I mentioned. Kid Icarus Uprising, which hasn't come out yet. Let's see. Oh, and this kind of made me laugh a little bit. But Luigi's Mansion 2 on the 3DS, not the Wii, the 3DS, and I thought that was interesting because when Nintendo's shifting to another console, when they're putting their stuff on the handheld stuff, when the sequel doesn't go onto a main console. Luigi's Mansion was on GameCube, but now they're doing a 3DS sequel with Luigi's Mansion. I mean, I have nothing against Luigi's Mansion. It's just I just find that humorous that they're going handheld. They're doing something with Pokemon. They're doing a Pokemon 3D Pokedex 3D, which is kind of like what was that one game? The one game with the camera and like you see the little monster. I can't remember it, but something like that. Kind of to help build up your Pokedex, or you trade with friends and whatnot. But overall, Nintendo had a pretty good conference. There's still a lot of questions being raised with the Wii U. I mean, they're not. Nobody knows where this is going. Honestly, in my opinion, with the Wii, if they can get a lot of third-party developers, I think this console could work. I mean, then again, it may be like when the DS first came out, when a lot of developers didn't know what to do with it, so a lot of the games that came at launch weren't really that good, but they got better over time. That could be a possibility. But yeah, I think overall Nintendo might have had the better conference. Maybe partly because of the Wii U. If not, Sony had a pretty good one, mostly because of the titles that they have coming out. So yeah, that's pretty much that's about it. I am coming out with more videos. I do have another review, which I'm going to try and get done hopefully by the end of this month. I'm also doing another Let's Cosplay. I'm going to Anime Next, which is in Somerset, New Jersey. That is this weekend coming up, and I want to point out and saying anybody who's going to be at Anime Next in Somerset, who's a cat girl, anybody dressing up as a cat girl who wants to be in it, wants to be in Let's Cosplay, contact, seek me out. I'll be there. I will say this now. I will be dressed as Dr. Insano from Channel Awesome, from the Spoonie Experiment. But I'm not going. But this will be like the last time I'm going to do that. Dress as Dr. Insano. Or you can shoot me. You can shoot me an email. My email's in the link down below. I also have. I'm also doing a Let's Play that I want to do. There's a Let's Play of 24 the game, because I'm a big fan of 24, and I know there's like one guy who's done it, but there's not a lot of people who've done that. Doing a Let's Play of 24 the game. So I'm going to be doing that. I actually might be doing something for Duke Nukem Forever. Hopefully, like I might either like a review, because I did Duke Nukem 64, and I figured, since it's something famous from that generation, it's getting a sequel. I figured, what the heck. Plus, it's a game we waited half our lifetimes for, so why not? So yeah, that's about it. You'll definitely hear from me soon. Probably the Let's Cosplay will come out. So till then, take care, everyone.